In a recent FaZe Apex video, he revealed some crazy information about all of the figures out there and pro players and streamers who almost, or at one point in time, were at least in talks with joining FaZe Clan. That list is full of people that we've actually talked about on this channel. He reconfirms those figures and then adds on a few more for a grand total of 7, kind of 8 people that you might have never seen coming and that almost joined FaZe Clan. The first and foremost he does talk about is the most recent one we have talked about, that being the one, the only Vikkstar. Of course, he would have been staying with the Sidemen, but Two also could have joined FaZe Clan. He denied that offer, that deal, whatever it might have been, did fall through, and instead he is now a co-owner in Rogue Esports as well as the London Royal Ravens. So obviously it worked out for the guy getting some co-ownership, but at one point it was almost going to be Sidemen, FaZe, Vikkstar.
So the first one, what kind of, inspired me to make this video is Vikkstar123 from the Sidemen. So as you can tell here, look at this thumbnail on his channel. He made a video recently called Why I Almost Joined FaZe Clan. And he kind of talked about it. I'm going to talk about it really quick as well from my perspective because he talked about how I reached out to him. Sidemen and FaZe are pretty good friends, I like to consider us a nice little family, already. So I was like, Vic, how do we get you in FaZe? He has a gaming channel basically. And I'm just like, why not, FaZe Vikkstar, the gamer. You don't have to leave Sidemen. Obviously, I would never want to break them apart. I mean, I don't have the power to. But
and then another one of the first we ever talked about is the possibilities of Nadeshot never even starting 100 Thieves because he could have potentially joined FaZe Clan. He actually talked about this with the mob on the Mobcast a long time ago. Also now reconfirmed by Apex. They were kind of in talks with him potentially, of course, after leaving Optic Gaming, doing his thing, potentially being a co-owner and a higher figure in FaZe Clan, but a difficult with a weird guy inside FaZe Clan, as Apex puts it, apparently stopped that from going through.
2 is actually another person that didn't end up joining, did something of his own that is also really impressive and awesome. And I don't know if he ever spoke about this before. I feel like he did on a podcast of his, but Nadeshot. You guys don't know who Nadeshot is? Nadeshot is a former, professional Call of Duty player for Optic, and he is the founder and CEO of 100 Thieves, which is an esports slash, clothing organization. I'm sure you guys know 100 Thieves, obviously. They're doing a great job. They have zoomed to the top of the list of the top orgs in the world. It's been cool to see it grow from his perspective. Again, he was in Optic. He kind of had a falling out with Optic. Ended up not working out. And at that time, we kind of talked about him joining FaZe. When we first moved to LA, I actually never met Nadeshot, which is crazy. But he came to the house before, and every time the guys ran into him, I was just not there. But talked at that time, we had some weird guy running FaZe Clan, to just be 100% honest, and it just never really went anywhere. He was going to join as kind of just a straight FaZe member at that time. Maybe even a partial owner. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. I know for a fact.
And then certainly I think a sleeper in the group, especially where he is now, and this is why I say NRG Esports has made some stellar signings and expansions, not only with Hex and Optic Gaming, but creator and streamer-wise, the signings they have been really good for their content side. One of those figures, one of their biggest streamers, and especially in the Fortnite scene, that's going to be Clicks, also was at least in initial talks with joining FaZe Clan, and certainly FaZe Clicks would have been just as successful as he is now with NRG.
Now that we're playing Fortnite, I'm going to swap over to a Fortnite player. This is like a weird thing for me to even mention because it was like not really super duper serious. There was just a point in time where it was potentially going to happen. I got on a couple Discord calls with him and honestly, it almost worked out, but kind of not really at the same time. There's just a lot of moving parts to it. But Clicks, if you guys know Clicks, probably the biggest Fortnite streamer in the world at the moment. One of them for sure. I know Mongrel's up there as well. Mongrel's a freaking beast every time he streams. But Clicks is a massive streamer, massive name, obviously part of NRG now. So he actually, we talked to him and we were really exploring the option of him joining FaZe. He was really interested in the family aspect of FaZe and how he loved that it was just more than a team and an organization, I talked to him and again, it was just, how business is sometimes. If there was a world where nothing mattered other than him wanting to join FaZe and FaZe wanted him to join, he would have probably been in FaZe, but I'm sure he's very happy to be in NRG. They're an amazing organization.
And then we got the one and only Hector Rodriguez, another one we have talked about as well because, well, it simply made sense. When you sell Optic Gaming, you're going to go on to do big things with some big esports and entertainment orgs, and what tops the list of that for a lot of eyes would be FaZe Clan. Can you imagine a guy like FaZe Hex? Certainly those talks actually had been had, given his connections with them as well, and something he has mentioned in his past too. But again, you got to say it. Luckily enough, they didn't end up there. Nadeshot goes on to create 100 Thieves. Hex eventually gets back with Optic and is now with NRG as well. who is still doing tremendous things.
Now, let's talk about my guy, Optic Hex, okay? Optic Hex, if you guys don't know the story about Optic, I can't even delve into it. Basically, he built Optic in like 2008. He ended up selling Optic. The people that bought it kind of kept him hostage and didn't really let him do what he needed to do with Optic. They thought that they could do a better job running it, which is obviously absolutely crazy. It was his brand. He has it tattooed huge on his arm. He built Optic. So it got kind of taken into the wrong people's hands, and they kind of drove Optic to the ground. And long story short, he joined NRG and became an owner in NRG. But recently he announced, which is the dopest thing ever, that he bought Optic back and joined Optic. He owns Optic again. So before he joined NRG, we talked to him about potentially having him join FaZe, kind of exploring a world where he joined FaZe and we kind of merged the Optic brand. You know, the idea was awesome, but I think, you know, the deal that he was able to get from NRG was just a lot more appealing to him.
And a very quick one I don't think is going to be a possibility, just simply because you probably can't afford a guy like this unless he gets ownership in some esports organization out there. Maybe FaZe Clan, that is. Something we talked about very briefly was a guy like David Dobrik playing Warzone and Call of Duty. Some jokes were made between him and FaZe Clan. It seems unlikely, but hey, keep those doors open for the future. Now, speaking of doors that were open in the past, though, for all you Call of Duty fans out there, what might be a surprise is FaZe Clan almost landed two of the most notorious Call of Duty figures and pros of all time, that being Scump and Crimsix. Can you imagine?
Actually, two Call of Duty legends, Scumpy and Crimsix. It was actually the whole Optic team at the time. I mean, they were kind of willing to join FaZe, but we had our team, and like at the time, I don't think we were really interested in swapping our team. We kind of had a little interaction with the Optic team. They wanted to join FaZe, which would have been a craziest thing of all time at the time. We were just trying to be loyal to our guys, and also they were going through a rough patch with Optic. I think it was during the time where Optic was being taken over by, you know, again, out of Hex's control, and they kind of just got put in a weird spot. They actually like wanted to join FaZe, which is crazy. FaZe Scumpy, FaZe Crimsix would have been insane. I got two people here. Hold on.
I mean, yes, it might have been far off. We don't know how close this ever came to be. You know, Scump has left and returned, and now, of course, Crimsix probably never coming back. But can you imagine if during the downfall of Optic, dare I say it, these guys go to FaZe and establish their legacy there? And it's weird to know every time I talk about these things what that could have meant for today if Scump and Crimsix were FaZe Scump and FaZe Crimsix. Now, of course, Optic Scumpy back and Empire Crimsix or Envy Crimsix doing just as well, winning CDL the first franchise league season. It's just crazy to know what could have been. Now, very lastly, we're touching on just about every scene out there. All you CSGO fans out there, my base, where I came from. Yes, at one point in time, Simple, one of the best CSGO players in the entire world, had reached out to a FaZe member wanting to join.
Relax, relax, relax. I gotta heal up. Sit down. Way better. I'm just way better. It's actually kind of scary how much better I am. The next person is an esports legend as well. One of the best Counter-Strike players in the world. Simple. If you know Counter-Strike, you know Simple. If you don't, then you're missing out. One of the best Counter-Strike players in the world. There was a point in time where he was almost going to join FaZe as well. Like, actually, it was a real discussion that also just didn't end up, business reasons just didn't end up happening. He reached out to a FaZe member wanting to join FaZe, and like, it was, you know, we were really obviously who's not interested in Simple. It was a mutual interest, and it just didn't end up working out. But I thought that would be another crazy legend that would have joined FaZe. Simple. The last person,
and we now know obviously Navi Simple. Well, he actually talked about his buyout previously in CSGO years being $1 million plus. That was years ago. We can only imagine how many millions his buyout would be now, let alone his salary for someone like Simple. He's probably going to be staying over there at Nadeshot here for quite some time. But FaZe Simple, I mean, I can already see sticker prices. Golly gee. I mean, they've already made some gigantic acquirements in the past. Coldzera and Nico, just a few, are just a couple of the many investments they have made into their CSGO rosters. And unfortunately, Nico now gone. FaZe Clan is willing to drop the bag. Unfortunately, things did not work out with Simple, and that bag would have been very, very large, but would have been stellar to see. I don't know why I like talking about these things so much, but especially when FaZe Clan has nearly signed 7 to 8 of the biggest names in gaming entertainment, it's really cool to see, you know, what could have been, which is kind of crazy. What do you guys think about this? To you, my question is, which one of these would have been the craziest signing to go through? I think for me personally, it's got to be either Scump or Simple, but I'm a bit biased as well. I mean, it could have been Nadeshot, right? Because that could have influenced the future so greatly that 100 Thieves wasn't even a thing. So I don't know. What is it to you? Until next time, take care of yourselves. Drink some water, drink some coffee, stay hydrated. I'll see you back here sometime soon.